Ho, 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 everybody. Hi there, and welcome to English in Chunks. Hi, everybody. This is me, Julia from English for IT, and this is your special guest. Of course, I'm kidding. You will have a really special human guest today. So, welcome, everybody. Hi, say hi in the chat, please, and let me know if you can hear and see me okay. Just send a quick reaction for the sake of sound and quality check, and we get started immediately because we are limited in time. We have around 30 minutes to chat and to have fun with you all today. So, hi, everybody. Welcome, can't see and listen. Amazing. So, you just made it to English in Chunks, obviously, right? And this is Monday, which means that this is our first live talk show today of the entire series of the live talk shows. And here is a quick reminder how it works. So each day this week, I'm inviting a different English variety teacher, or not necessarily a teacher, it can be a random team member for a fun, like 20-25 minute holiday chat, right? Nothing formal, nothing heavy. So it's just a spoiler for you. Instead, you will listen to a real conversation, to some really nice, cozy topics. And for you, this is a chance to listen to a natural English in a very relaxed way. So you get this opportunity to improve your English chunk by chunk, right? That was our plan for you guys. And after each live show, you get the recording, you get useful English chunks and expressions that we used together with the invited guest. You will get a small practice task and, of course, corrections from our mentor Nadine. And to have all this, you have to make sure you joined the Telegram channel. Let me send you the link so you can double check if you are part of our Telegram channel, if you want to get all this practice that I just mentioned. So check out the link in the comment section and make sure to join the Telegram. So for now, you have to just sit back, relax, enjoy the conversation, and let your English grow chunk by chunk. And now let's welcome today's guest, James. James here. Hi,
Hello.
James.
Hiya.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Well and truly in the Christmas spirit.
Absolutely nice. I was about to ask you this question if you are already here. So, James, it's going to be our fourth Christmas together. I mean, together with you and
Yeah, yeah.
with you at English for AT. And that's why I'm really happy that you are opening this week of live talk shows. So, on the scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you for Christmas this year?
I'm pretty much like a little child when it comes to Christmas, to be honest. I absolutely love it. I'm, as I said, well and truly in the Christmas spirit already. I get super excited, probably far too early, actually. I start getting excited like mid-November, early November. So it's now, we're well into December now, and I'm very excited. I love it. It's the best time of the year.
Absolutely, that's true. You know, I decorated my Christmas tree in the end of November, so obviously it's it's never early to get started started preparation for this Christmas. They said it's 2 days left for Christmas according to my advent calendar, right? So yeah, of course. And James, where are you calling from, by the way? Because last time we were chatting, I think you were in Asia, not in the UK.
I am back in the UK now, actually. I've come back mostly because I miss Christmas so much. It's like I'm used to Christmas being in a cold country. And so I've had Christmas abroad a few times, but there's just something amazing about, the chance of snow. It's cold outside. It has more of that Christmas feeling, that Christmas vibe when you're walking around in a cold country at Christmas for me.
And okay, we'll definitely talk more about this, but what are maybe first three words that come to mind when you think of Christmas, specifically in the UK?
Ooh, happiness, because everybody, like the UK in the winter is generally not always the happiest of places. We're famous for just being a rainy, gray, kind of boring-ish country in the winter. But at Christmas, just for Christmas time, it's the only time you can walk down the street and everybody's smiling. Like literally, it's always been, the UK's done Christmas really well for like thousands of years now. So it's literally been such a long going tradition that even today, you can walk down, your neighbors will be like, "Ah, Merry Christmas, how's it going?" Da, 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 like this. Everybody's in a good mood. That would be number one. Number two would be, I would say probably overeating, which is a funny one, actually. Overeating, it's that time of the year where everybody overeats.
Yeah.
And me and my family at Christmas, we generally go, again, I'll use the expression well overboard, which means there's just food on top of food, on top of food, on top of food, on top of food.
Yeah, I want to mention that in Ukraine, at least, we share this tradition, obviously.
I'm glad to hear it, actually. I've always wanted to visit Ukraine and see what Christmas is like there as well. So I'm glad the food tradition is similar.
Absolutely. So if you come here for Christmas, you won't be hungry. That's 100%. What else? Number three?
Number three. What would number three be? I want to say, it'd probably be a weird one, actually, but I want to say that romance as well, because everybody seems to have it's like the number one time of the year that everybody's trying to sort of watch Love Actually. Everybody's watching the movie Love Actually. All the restaurants have deals on for couples to go and have a romantic Christmas dinner. You'll get something called mistletoe, which is on like every table in most restaurants. And the tradition, I wonder if our audience maybe actually would know, what is the tradition for something you're supposed to do under mistletoe? Maybe I can leave that.
Yeah. Okay. Let us. Let maybe people comment here, because everybody who watched Love Actually, they probably know this tradition. But I love this. And if you ask me about my first three words that come to my mind,
I was about to ask you. Yeah.
One of them, it was mistletoe, definitely. I was also thinking about Christmas pudding, because I want to ask if it's actually a thing or something from, books. And also it's about Boxing Day. So you tell me.
So yeah, actually, I'm glad you mentioned these, because the words that I use, they're kind of, quite generic, but they're just how I feel about the UK. But for specific UK, Boxing Day, definitely. I'm not sure if anywhere else I've ever traveled to or lived in has Boxing Day. Originally, Boxing Day was the day. It has this. You'll have this vision of aristocratic families in England that had servants, and the servants had to work on Christmas Day. So the day after Christmas Day was their Christmas Day, and we called it Boxing Day. So you'd get the lords and the ladies and the kings and the queens, and they would have their servants serving them dinner. But where is the Christmas for the servants? They would have their Christmas the next day, which we call Boxing Day. For most people in England, though, obviously we don't have servants. Boxing Day is a day for leftovers. So the food that you've had the day before, it's always like, I don't know, grandmas and parents will cut little triangles and make turkey sandwiches and things like this. And you spend the whole day just eating the leftovers. The football will be on. I think it's the only day of the year where every single football team in the UK plays on that day. And a lot of other sports as well will be on that day. So my family calls Boxing Day literally chair day, because everybody just kind of sits in their chair like this, TV, watching, eating, talking, watching, eating, talking, like this.
Nice. And what about this Christmas pudding? Do you ever cook it?
So Christmas pudding, I personally don't like it, but it is extremely common. I mean, if I walked around my local market or shop at the moment, it's like lines of Christmas pudding everywhere. You get two things, actually. You have mince pies, which are the other like famous British food for Christmas. And minced pie is basically just minced meat inside a pie at Christmas. You often leave one of these mince pies. You can probably, I don't know if anybody can see, but behind me in my picture is like a fireplace. And this fireplace with the sort of wood on the top of there, you have the two Christmas stockings that you put stuff in. On the top of there, you'd leave Christmas pudding and mince pies for Santa Claus. When he comes down the chimney, he will eat the mince pie, and it's supposed to be good luck. Usually in real life, your dad will probably come down in the middle of the night, take a little bite or a nibble of one of the foods. And then when your children wake up, they go, look, Santa Claus has been, Santa Claus has clearly been and eaten the pie.
Nice, I love it. You already shared so many traditions, by the way, and and we just started. I have a question because I know that you travel a lot, right? So imagine that you're now not in the UK for Christmas, right? So is there any particular Christmas tradition that you want to take away with you, to any country?
So it depends where, because depending on the region of England, you have what we would do, we'd say like there's British traditions, but then each part of England kind of has their own traditions, like Wales and Scotland and so on. But also most families will have their own sort of mini traditions as well. In the local village that I sort of live in here in England, one of the traditions is simply to try and like do something nice for someone else. Basically, you can't have a lucky year in 2026 unless you finish 2025 having, I don't know, given something to a homeless person or given something to your local church or something like this. So you have to do like one good thing, and it can be something absolutely ridiculous. So a lot of like young men, they'll do something as simple as literally like push the chair in for someone at a restaurant or something like that, or hold their umbrella over their wife in the street when it's raining, when they might not always do this, and so on. So you just have to do one nice thing essentially. But I think that's something that you could easily take, right? You can take that anywhere in the world. So that's the easiest one. But other than that, chocolate. I would take English chocolate. Definitely.
What do you mean by English chocolate? Tell me more.
So again, we love to overeat at Christmas, and chocolate is a huge thing. So I don't think you can see it again, but most Christmas trees in England in the winter, we hang chocolate on the Christmas tree. So there'll be little chocolate pieces. Christmas morning, you can go and take Christmas chocolates off the tree. The problem is in hot countries, you can't do this because the chocolate will have melted. So obviously, it's one of the things I love about coming back here is that it's just chocolate. We call it chocolate galore, just chocolate everywhere when you come back.
Okay, well, that's a surprise now. And this tradition of being nice to other people, is this does it have a name or something? Because I've never heard of it either.
I think it might just, again, as I said, I think it's just one of those things that we do really locally here. I live in quite a small village, almost outside of the big cities. And where I grew up, that was just always something that you did. But I'm pretty sure, and you'd have to let me Google this actually, but I'm pretty sure it's a really ancient tradition that comes from our name for Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, right? Is in a lot of countries, St. Nicholas will have his own day. So I think on a lot of countries, it's like December the 6th or 8th is St. Nicholas's day. In the UK, St. Nicholas, Santa Claus, and Father Christmas, they're all one person. They're all the same guy. So his St. Nicholas is famous for giving gifts and helping people. And originally, giving gifts is to make someone happy. So you have to make someone happy. This is where this tradition of like Secret Santa that every country now does, right? Doing a Secret Santa, make somebody at your workplace happy by giving them a random gift.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. We just celebrated this weekend. It was December 6th when in Ukraine we celebrated St. Nicholas Day. And in your case, I mean, in the UK, it looks like your St. Nicholas, right? Or your Santa is very like a multitasker, has to handle.
But I'm curious as well, because from what I've heard from some of my Ukrainian students is that you guys also have Grandfather Frost or something like this, right?
The thing is that we don't have Santa Claus, right? So it's now modern to say Santa Claus every time I tell you, James, like I believe in Santa, right? In Ukrainian, I actually think that I believe in Father Frost. So
okay, yeah.
Kind of different personalities.
We've got a huge debate this year on English TV, and the debate is, should parents lie to their children for so long that Santa is real? And so there's a lot of like debate on Good Morning TV, on British TV, where people are saying, because when I grew up, my parents did a very, very good job of convincing me that Santa was definitely real until, I don't know, maybe I was like 12 years old or 13 years old, which is really late. They kept it going for a very long time. But the sad thing is I'm the older brother, in my family. So younger brothers, younger sisters, they don't have this, because as soon as the older brother knows, he generally tells the younger brother anyway. So they don't get the same length of time believing is Santa as the older brother normally does.
Yeah, absolutely. It works to the same in my family. I still remember this one of the years. It wasn't Christmas, because you have a lot of Ukrainian students. You know that we usually celebrate New Year more than Christmas, right?
I heard
Especially
this. Yeah, yeah.
a few years ago, we just started celebrating Christmas before New Year, and before back to 2005, something like that. It was a different order. But in general, yes, I remember this year when I was around 12 or 13 too, and I discovered that Santa Claus, right? They don't exist. But I also want to give a shout out to my parents for keeping this secret. Awesome. By the way, speaking of your childhood, what traditions do you remember from your childhood? Maybe one Christmas tradition, or
I
maybe one Christmas, yeah,
it,
highlight.
it's probably related to food again, but I remember making. It's common for children, a lot of children in my family at least, to make pigs in blankets. I don't know if you know the food pigs in blankets.
I heard something. I have to find a picture and then
So
share it.
pigs
Tell
in
us about.
blankets are basically sausages wrapped in bacon. They have their sausages with bacon wrapped around them,
Okay.
and pigs in blankets it's a Christmas food. It's like the food that if you ask anybody in England what food are you looking forward to this Christmas, they'll be like pigs in blankets, definitely pigs in blankets. I want loads of pigs in blankets with my Christmas dinner. And we used to sort of stand in the kitchen and make some of these pigs in blankets ourselves, but they're sold everywhere. So pigs in blankets and being told to be quiet at 3 p.m. in the afternoon because the King's speech is normally on. So the tradition in the UK is that at 3 p.m. on Christmas Day, the King will come on the TV and give a speech. It used to be more popular than today because everybody kind of really loved Queen Elizabeth. When Queen Elizabeth was the Queen, even I would sit, everybody in my family would sit and watch the Queen's speech. The King is not quite as popular as the Queen was. So it's a sort of tradition that's not everybody's doing anymore. But it used to be the case, like 3 p.m. In England, all of the pubs are only open for like 1 hour or 2 hours from 12 till 2. And you have to get back to your house in time to watch the King's speech. So people will go out to the pub, Christmas dinner will start cooking, and you come back home and you have to watch the King's speech, essentially.
Okay. Wow. Right. That's very interesting. I'm curious if our audience knew that before. So we're definitely looking forward to their feedback later. And also this tradition of opening up all these Christmas presents, unboxing in the morning after Christmas, right? Is it true that you have to wake up, like you do this all things in the morning? Because in Ukraine, if we compare it with New Year, right, we do it at night.
So again, every family does it slightly differently, but the tradition has always been to open one present on Christmas Eve, which is the 24th. And usually it's like a little gift, maybe use like a DVD. In the past, it would be like a DVD or a book. And then you could read this or watch it on Christmas Eve. And then usually it's because children, especially me, used to get so excited, I would nearly barely sleep anyway. So I would wake up at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. and I'd be like, Mom, Dad, where's the presents? And you would have a sack, a Christmas sack that Santa has bought into your bedroom. You wake up, and usually if your parents are really good at acting and hiding and they're like ninjas, you would go to bed and you would fall asleep and this sack wasn't there. And you would wake up, even if it was like 1 hour later, you'd wake up and magically these presents would seem to appear at the end of your bed. But just as you think you've opened the last present, you go downstairs and there's a Christmas tree. There's presents under the Christmas tree as well. And your big present, like if you have a main present from Santa or from mum and dad, they're normally the last ones under the tree downstairs and so on.
Okay, so that's the whole process, like so many gifts. Usually that's a surprise for me as well, because of course, like there can be a few gifts, but usually in our Ukrainian families, it's just one big, or not necessarily big gift from Santa,
Hmm.
something that you you email them about.
Oh, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, nice. And I really like this topic of the Christmas traditions in the UK because again, if we take Ukraine back at school. When I was learning English, all the course books we had, they were about like British English. So all these traditions, everything like in general, even the word Christmas for me is associated with the Christmas in the UK. So it's always nice to sum up, these traditions, but also hear something new because obviously you shared a lot of new things, very authentic, something from real life as it exists.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm curious as well because I have quite a few students from Ukraine, and it's always interesting for you guys, the listeners here, to share, well, around the world actually, to share how they celebrate Christmas as well, and to see what's done differently. Some of my German students, for example, they celebrate on a different day. Some of the French students, similar thing, and so on. It's become much more popular around the world. Places like Bangkok this time. I lived in Vietnam, and like the Christmas trees I saw out there were bigger than the ones I see in England. So it's certainly a something that I think worldwide now everybody has their own sort of version of it and tradition, and it's so nice. Um, for me, Harry Potter on Christmas Day is like the only thing I could not live without. Basically, it's the only thing I could not live without is watching that the Christmas scenes from Harry Potter and so on Christmas Day. We usually put the music on, actually, I think, in the overnight
Mhm.
or in the morning when you wake up, the background soundtrack to Harry Potter. Everybody else, Americans, Home Alone. I guess you guys probably grew up with Home Alone as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean both. Yeah, Harry Potter and Home Alone, right? That's the point for each December,
Yeah.
at least.
You're like,
So
Christmas
we
is here. Excellent.
Yeah, we do both. And it's great that we have this international student community and team community, I mean, in general. So we definitely have to ask later after this live talk show on Telegram to so people can share their traditions. Because I know that for this English in Chunks challenge, we have people from both Europe, it is from Asia as well, Latin America. So it will be super fun to discover different traditions. Thank you so
Mhm.
much, James, for joining this live talk show, for
My pleasure.
sharing your traditions, for sharing how you do this, and maybe getting people into the holiday spirit, hopefully. After this live talk show, we'll share all the useful expressions, we call them English chunks, right, that James used today. So you get a chance to practice, to improve your English while also having fun, right? So that's the point of this English in Chunks challenge. You'll get more information via email or also on Telegram. And we hope that you loved chatting. Technically chatting, hearing from us, from James today. So thank you, everybody. James, do you
A
have
very Merry
any?
Christmas.
Yeah, do you have any Christmas wishes for our
I
community?
was going to say, I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas, a very happy Christmas, and a very festive Christmas. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday, and bye for now.
Bye. Merry Christmas.